Podtacular. The unofficial Halo Universe podcast presents episode 610, Centennial Fodder, recorded live on December 27th, 2017. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am your host, Duststorm.
And I am your co-host, Godzilla T.
And welcome to our final episode of 2017, 610, and our giveaway of our Xbox One X. It's been a long time coming, but it is finally here. I'm sure a lot of people in here are really excited about that. We got a few new faces here in the stream tonight, so thanks everyone for dropping on by. We'll be giving away the Xbox One X in a little while. For those that are new, we go through a little bit of the recent news first, and then we'll have our giveaway drawing, and then we'll have a couple of small discussions before we wrap up for tonight. As the news things go, we have a couple of Halo World Championship things to go through. There's a new Canon Fodder, which I don't think I've seen a Canon Fodder in a while. Do you remember the last time we had a Canon Fodder?
No, I don't. I really don't remember the last one.
This one that Grim just posted this past week is the 100th, the Centennial Canon Fodder. So there's some extra goodies in that post that we'll go through. But first off, since we are after the Christmas holidays, I figured we'd do a little recap of our holiday adventures. So I went to Texas with my family and took my fiance there. And we had a good time with good food and good family bonding and all that good stuff. Got to introduce my family to Drawful from the Jackbox Party Pack. So that was our new game of the season. Our family typically does a new game every holiday season, so that was the one that we did. And then I have one brother that also plays Xbox on a somewhat frequent basis, so we played Halo Reach 3 nights I was there. So that was a lot of fun. What about you, GT?
I went home, to my house. No, we actually celebrated Christmas with my family on Saturday evening. So went out and basically watched the kids unwrap their presents.
Cool.
We do a gift exchange, so the adults each only get one gift, typically, unless Santa shows up.
I know him. It's Santa.
and gives your mom brand new shoes, or gives your dad a chainsaw sharpening file, things like that.
Nice.
But yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was good. It was the first year we actually kind of pranked the kids.
Wait, how did this happen?
Well, I had some extra boxes laying around the house that just happened to fit a couple of my niece's gifts. One of them was a bathroom scale, and then the other one was a microphone box for a new microphone that I just got.
Oh, geez.
The first niece opened her bathroom scale box, and the look on her face was priceless. She's like, "What is this?" She was pleasantly surprised that there was not a bathroom scale in the box.
That's good. That's kind of funny, though.
Yeah. It's kind of a family tradition. We usually do something like that at least once a year to at least one of us.
Okay.
I remember back when I was growing up, my dad got an extremely mischievous streak in, and he got my brother a video game, but it was in a box that was about 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, just a big square box. And it had a bunch of paper in it and 4 pistons out of a Caterpillar diesel.
Okay.
So my brother passing out these gifts, and these, with the 4 pistons in there, it's a pretty substantial box. It's not light.
No.
And so my brother tears into it. Oh, and on top of this, my dad had started numbering the gifts, so you couldn't tell whose gift was whose.
Okay.
Anyway, once it was identified as my brother's gift, he opened it, and he was pleasantly surprised to find the video game, but not so excited about finding the pistons.
I bet. So was it just a box of the pistons, and it was just kind of a joke type of thing, or was it something?
No, the video game was in the box with the pistons.
Oh, gotcha. So the pistons was just in there to throw off the weight of it.
Right. Just to change the weight. And that same year, my dad gave my mother a ring, and he placed it, in a relatively small box, but he weighted that box as well. This little bitty ring weighed about 5 pounds.
You're giving our stream chat some ideas too.
Yeah.
I have to keep that one in mind as well. That's sneaky.
Yeah.
There was one video I was watching on Facebook as I was scrolling through my feed today where it was probably 7, 8, maybe 9 boxes wrapped within each other. So basically Russian boxes.
Yeah.
And in the final box, it was just a picture of okay. That was it.
I've seen people do that with like car keys.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Like if you got a new car or something.
Yeah. They're giving a car to somebody, to either one of their children or their spouse. You'll start off with, a big box, and then they got another box in it, and then another box in it, all the way down to a little box that holds the keys. And of course, the last one I saw, the person wrapped each individual box.
That was the same thing in this video too.
It was about 15 minutes of unwrapping boxes. 15
minutes? Jeez.
This started with a really big box. This box was big. This box was big enough to put, say, a 27-inch monitor in.
Okay.
Laying down, not standing up, laying down. And each successive box was just a little bit smaller.
Oh, so they really packed it in there.
Yeah, just small enough to get inside of the previous box. So, this little box of car keys, there's about 20 boxes there.
Wow.
About halfway through, you could tell the person was getting a little perturbed.
Yeah.
But it's still funny.
I can understand that. We are going to go ahead and put the code for the giveaway up on the screen because we're going to be giving it away in about 20 minutes or so, just so people can go ahead and get their entries in. So the code is up on the screen now. I'll go ahead and paste the URL in the chat as well so that we can get to it. I'm getting there, Laird. A little patience. For the link that's in the chat, you can click on that, and that will take you to our Gleam.io contest entry. There is an entry on there for attending the live stream, and because today is our final live stream, instead of the normal 10 entries, we're granting people that are showing up here a bonus 5 entries, so you get a total of 15 for tonight. So we'll be drawing again in about 20 minutes or so. Enter in the code that's on your screen into the one entry that's asking about the live stream attendee code, and that will get you the 15 entries into the giveaway. We currently have about 1,600 entries. That's a lot to choose from. But the best way to do it, or the best way to get the most amount of entries, is to enter that code in right now, and then you can do some of the other actions on there to get a little more of an edge and possibly getting drawn. So good luck to everybody entering. Again, we'll draw in about 20 minutes or so. But first thing is, let's head on over to the news side of things. Like we mentioned earlier in the show, the 100th Canon Fodder has been posted by Grim, called Sweet Centennial. And in here, he has a collage of all the different Canon Fodder images that have been used to front the articles. And there is also some details from some Halo Wars 2 stuff, and then some stuff from the community that we'll go through as well. First thing up is Sunray 11, or Sunray 11, is the ODST squad that you play as during Halo Wars 2's Operation Spearbreaker. And the Cannon Fodder goes into a little more detail behind each one of the squad members. It's a squad of 5. Each one has their own kind of specialty and equipment loadout. And it has a little more detail about the squad, some of the excursions that they did after the events of the DLC expansion. And they go into a little more detail behind each individual of the team. So there is 5 different members, like I said before. The first one being the leader of the unit, Major Vaughn. The second one is the technical liaison, Warrant Officer Quinn. Then there's Petty Officer Gruss, who's the medic. Corporal Turpin, who's the drone operator. And then Lance Corporal Sparks, who's the designated marksman. There's some artwork that is available for kind of a HD background download, and Grim pulls out little snippets of the screenshot and showcases some of the different tools, weapons, armor variants, the medic drone or the scout drone, as well as some of the other details in there as well. So if you're looking for a little more information about the ODST squad, then that is the first thing up in the Cannon Fodder. It's interesting to see how some of the little tidbits kind of glean from previous things that we've seen in ODST squads from like Halo 3 ODST and some of the other book stuff. And then the art design on some of the finer details of the armor and the thick marks on the sniper rifle, and then the little Mustang painting on Vaughn's rocket launcher as well. Did you get a chance to look through a lot of these in detail?
I scrolled through them. I like the really the attention to detail on the armors and the little, personalized touches that you see on them, like the little bauble that the guy has hanging from his sniper rifle.
And it's all nods to the characteristics and developing some of the backstory behind some of these characters that we unfortunately don't get to see too much of because they're in games, but it's stuff like Cannon Fodder where Grim really tries to pull out some of the backstory and the details behind squads that we see, characters that are in games, and all that kind of stuff. And in the article a little bit later on, actually at the very bottom, you'll see him say that this was kind of an experimental thing that he started out with, a niche part of the community he was trying to address and give some info to, and it really kicked off, and he's just been doing it ever since. Granted, the last one was since the Awakening of Nightmare DLC, which Laird pointed out to us, so thanks, Laird. But before that, the void that was filled between the launch of Halo 5 and kind of what trailed off the content of Halo 4, Cannon Fodder was really there to help fill the void.
And, I really appreciate Grim doing this and, posting this lore stuff up on the website because, for the people that are really into the lore, it gives them, more information. You get more backstory behind these different characters in the, Halo universe. The Sunray unit, previously we didn't know much about them. So it's nice to be able to kind of expand out on the story and get a little history about them. Kind of makes the gameplay a little bit more meaningful.
It does, and it adds a lot of, and this is one of the reasons why, even though I'm not caught up on the books, I like the books, is because they add to the fiction and they add to the universe that the Halo games have already made. It's one of the reasons why I originally got interested in Halo, was just because of the vast story that was developed by the foundations of the game and the story that was in the game, and then reading the books as well.
Yeah, definitely. The story that is in the games is what piqued my interest into getting into the books. Because I'm not really a reader. I don't sit down and read a book.
Neither am I.
If I sit down and read a book, I go to sleep. It's just the way I am. Which made studying hell.
Right.
But, I found a way, with the audiobooks where I can actually listen to the books and get to enjoy the story.
That's good. Thankfully for the audiobooks, I know there's quite a few other people that use that same tool to get that bit of knowledge in there.
Oh, yeah. The nice thing about audiobooks is you can go through the book and not be locked into just, sitting down and reading it. You can do other things. Like me, I listen to them on my drive to work. I get about an hour a day that I can listen to the book. So that means I can go through a book relatively quick. I mean, I just went through Retribution again, and I think it took me a week and a half.
Dang.
It would have been faster, but I had some days that I actually didn't get an opportunity to listen to the book. So
gotcha.
The larger books, they're just on my normal travels, you're looking a week and a half, 2 weeks of listening to get through the book. But some of the shorter books, it's a couple of days.
It just adds a whole nother dimension to the universe. For anyone that's really interested in the stories that the games portray, if you haven't read the books, then I would highly recommend it. And just to plug Pins, since he's not in here, he's actually put together a spreadsheet that outlines all the different entries and in chronological order of game segments, books, videos, comics, all of that extra lore into a timeline format and put everything in a chronological order. So, hey Pins, never mind, he is here. I just linked your Google spreadsheet. It is an extensive listing of, and he even breaks out different chapters of books into the timeline that he's put together. It has 397 entries, 98 entries in it.
Yeah, it's an extensive list.
It is quite extensive. I hope Grim has seen that. I don't know if he has yet. I should probably send it to him again. I think I sent it to him last year when Pins first shared it with us, but it would be interesting to have something of this caliber kind of be an official, or at least be recognized by 343 as somewhat of an official timeline of things, and be like, yeah, this is actually a pretty good estimate of where everything is.
It's always nice to have the developer's blessing on that kind of stuff.
Maybe get him a fire skin. Get him on an update or something. It'd be a nice nod. Anyways, back to the Canon Fodder. The next person, or the next character that we have that has a little more backstory, is an elite leader who actually has a little bit of background in Warzone. It is, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but all elite names are kind of hard to say anyways. Von Schraum? Von Schraum?
Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine.
That's as close as I think I'm going to get with that name. So he is one of the Covenant's most storied Singhili pilots. He has a Banshee that was christened the Red Fang, and he was responsible for many human deaths during the Human Covenant War. Slightly after the Great Schism, he disappeared, and there have been some scattered reports of assaults that have been attributed to Red Fang, but nothing has been confirmed. So it's a little tidbit story behind the Singhili warrior. Then the next thing is about the Tarask heavy fighter. I think that's a little bit easier to say than Von Sriom.
A little bit.
The Tarask heavy fighter was a ship that actually inspired some other ships that have been made, like the Phantom. Its design and the way that it integrates Covenant technology in with ships and Foreigner technology is actually kind of the foundation of some of the other ships that have been created in the Covenant fleet. Another thing that I guess is kind of related, it's another little entry, but there is a artwork that was done by Darren Bacon. That's funny, his last name is Bacon.
Bacon! Yeah, I wonder if he's related to Kevin.
That would be kind of funny. So there's a little bit of artwork of what is called a spade. It's Turbogen spade, which is kind of like a troop warthog in a way. It's kind of more like a utility.
Actually, it looks more like the civilian or civilian vehicles in Reach.
And it has kind of that Reach aesthetic and feel to it. At least the artwork is. It is actually named after the native herbivore on Reach, the spade. So it's just another little piece to add to the repertoire of art pieces in the Halo universe.
Now they need to make something called the MOA.
They do.
Not just the MOA burger, the MOA.
You're right. They totally do. Next thing in the Canon Fodder is a sneak peek at the cover of Halo Bad Blood, which is the follow-up to Halo New Blood by Matt Forbeck.
And I have to admit, that's a wicked-looking cover.
Yes, it is. New Blood was nice and green, and this one is blue and red, which actually... Oh, what was the one planet in... And I haven't finished this book, but Broken Circle that had the red and blue?
Yeah, I don't remember the actual name of the planet, but I do remember them, just basically calling it the planet of blue and red.
Yeah, someone help us out in the chat.
I was looking at that, and that popped into my head, too.
That was the first thing that popped out at me. That's like, okay, it's red and blue. We know that's... But wait, there's a halo in the background. Or is that a halo? Huh? Okay, now I'm confused.
I don't know.
Maybe that's a foreigner artifact, not a halo. And there's a big orb. Now I'm confused.
Well, that could be a moon. That could just be a moon. Yeah,
it's an awfully big moon. Or an awfully close moon.
Well, look at Phobos. One of Mars's moons. It's relatively close to the planet compared to ours. Yeah, who knows? They could be on a gas giant. I don't know. It's sci-fi. It doesn't have to make sense. But yeah, it does look like part of a halo ring, at least, in the background.
It's either that or maybe a foreigner artifact or a structure that just shoots up. Could be like if it was a human world, maybe like a space elevator.
Well, no, because it's behind the moon or planet or orb or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that's a good point.
At least the way it's drawn. Because, it's behind that mountain peak, and it looks like it's behind this orb, whatever it is, whether it be a moon or what.
You're right.
Maybe it's a star road.
Oh, jeez. Let's not get into those right now.
Let the debate start now. Oh,
there's after I read that book, I was just like, okay, I need to come back and look at this later because right now my brain isn't comprehending star roads quite right. We'll see. There's a community Q&A where Grim answers some of the community's questions. A big one being Unicraken and literally every member of the Sins of the Prophets team. They're asking about the canonical size of the cradle. And Grim gives two different references, one from one of the first chapters. Actually, no, it's actually just one reference from The Fall of Reach. There's a couple of other questions in there that he answers regarding some of the UNSC ships, and then there's one about the Arbiter's armor in Halo 3 being silver or gold, and it is silver. But there's some other community questions up there. There's some questions that Grim asked some of the creative folks at 343. Kenneth Peters, Nick Ardizone. He asked some different questions, so those are up there if you want to look at them. And then the part that I'm really kind of excited for is some community quotes that Grim got from a myriad of different canon communities. Halo Canon, Hidden Xperia, Haruspis, Halo Archive, Forward Unto Dawn, Covenant Canon, Halopedia, Halo Nation, Podcast Evolved, and Sins of the Prophets all got a little blurb that they have in the update. And each one goes into what is most exciting about them in the universe, what really draws them to the universe. A common theme between a lot of the different answers is just the vastness of the universe and the support that the universe offers for the different branches and different information that gets pulled out of the different areas of the Halo lore. So you have the Great Schism, you have the Insurrection, you have all the Halo stories behind the games, you have the Forerunner Greg Bear trilogy, and there's all these different little pockets that have been filled by different books and lore pieces throughout the canon. And everyone has had a little corner, as you can tell, multiple corners of groups that can come together and really discuss and dig deeper into the lore outside of what you just see on the surface level of the games.
Definitely. It's a great place to be when it comes to lore. It's a great universe to be in.
It certainly is. We've had probably about a third of these folks on here. So we've had Halo Canon, Hidden Xperia, Forward Unto Dawn, Halo Archive, Podcast Evolved, and we've actually had about half. We haven't had Haruspice, Covenant Canon, Halopedia, although I think I've tried to reach out to them before, or Halo Nation on yet. So that may be some point down the road, but all these different communities or personalities are pretty well known and recognized within the greater Halo community. So you can check out any one of them. They're all linked in the Canon Fodder article. And that will wrap it up from Grim for this year.
It's hard to believe this year's almost over with.
I know. Just 4 more days. 4 more days. A couple of updates on the Halo World Championship front. There is some new information regarding the Orlando Open Tournament. There is some qualification information. So the top 4 North American teams and the top EU team actually gets a direct qualification into the 16 teams that will be competing in the bracket play at Orlando. There's also 2 Latin American teams that are fighting for a direct seed as well. One of them is going to get flown out and placed into the direct qualification, and the other one can fight through the open bracket. There are some restrictions on the teams that are getting the direct qualification into the bracket play, such as the team has to have at least 2 of the 4 players to stay the same before the open tournament actually starts. And then the rosters must be submitted at least 2.5 weeks before the tournament 2.5 weeks before the tournament actually starts. And that's the first LAN tournament of the Halo World Championship for 2018. There's some more information about the FFA that's going to be taking place during all of the LAN tournaments and some inclusion of the Microsoft stores. There are going to be 5 different divisions, and all the Microsoft stores are being merged down into these 5 divisions when it comes to qualifying for the Halo 5 FFA finals at the Halo World Championship finals. The listing of all the different Microsoft stores and where they are tied to is in the Halo 5 FFA Halo World Championship 2018 finals article, which I just linked in the chat. Each Microsoft store is going to have FFA qualifiers on Sunday, January 28th, Sunday, February 11th, and then Sunday, March 4th. I have to see if I can get out to the one in Tyson's Corner and see all the action that's going on over there. There are 12 different entries into it. The top players from each of these are going to be headed to the Halo 5 FFA for the for the finals. The Halo World Championship Orlando Open will have 1 finalist. EU Halo World Championship London Finals. Australia and New Zealand Halo World Championship Sydney Finals. The Latin America Halo World Championship Finals at Mexico City. The 5 different Microsoft Store divisions. And then there will be 3 slots that will be battled for during the Halo World Championship Open FFA in April. So 9 will be predetermined going into the finals weekend, and then 3 will actually be determined in the open bracket or in the open FFA at the Halo World Championship 2018. And finally, there are some settings updates for the Halo World Championship playlist. There are 2 different versions of Oddball that are being tested right now. Oddball version 3 has the Oddball carrier can only use the Clamber Spartan ability and no others. Melee while holding the ball is also a 1-hit kill. For the Oddball version 4 that they're testing, Oddball carrier can use Thruster and Clamber, and then Melee while holding the ball requires 2 hits instead of 1. I personally like version 3 out of those 2.
1-hit melee.
That's traditionally how it's been, and I feel if they change that aspect of it, it's not going to go over well with the competitive because you're at a disadvantage anyways. So it's kind of important to have that one hit.
I mean, even with the addition of the thruster, you're still at a severe disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. Because you can't sprint.
They still make you walk slower, right?
I don't know, but I would assume because of sprint, it's just normal walking speed. I haven't looked at the mode details specifically, but that's something that we can look at for the next show.
Yeah, I would say the one-hit melee.
I would too. The two different versions are going to continue to be tested until January 5th when the game types will actually be locked for the 2018 World Championship season. The game types and maps list are as follows. Oddball will be on Truth, Plaza, Eden, and the Rig. Slayer will be on the Rig, Truth, Regret, Plaza, and Coliseum. Capture the Flag on Truth, Coliseum, and Fathom, and then Strongholds on the Rig, Plaza, Eden, and Empire. There's a couple of weapon updates as well. The sniper rifle has a starting ammunition of 8 bullets instead of 12, so you only get 2 magazines instead of 3 full magazines. There is an update to the Spinker rocket launcher also that takes it down from 4 total rockets to 2, so you only get 1 full mag of rockets instead of 2. Both of these changes were made to reduce the quote-unquote snowball effect that made swinging a match have too much of a favor advantage into the team that holds the power weapon throughout the remainder of the game. They changed some of the initial spawns on the Rig, Eden, and Plaza as well, and those are going to be continued to be looked at until the lock of the game modes and maps on January 5th. The moment that everyone in here has been waiting for, the Xbox One X giveaway. For anyone who has not entered, the code on your screen can be used to enter at our Gleam.io contest. I'll put the link in the chat one more time for anyone who has not entered in for tonight's code that is been on the screen. Or for those that have been coming in and don't know what that is, we are doing a giveaway for an Xbox One X. That's our final giveaway. We've been doing a giveaway for every episode since episode 600 up until the end of the year. And GT had the clever idea of doing an Xbox One X as our final giveaway because it is the end of the year and it is the latest and greatest as far as Xboxes go. Again, one last chance to enter, so head over to the URL that I just posted in the chat. Enter the code that's on your screen into the live stream attendee, and then we will draw a winner.
Come on, we need 2 more entries to make an even 1,900 entries.
Actually, I'm having to delete an invalid entry, so that might change a little bit. Yep, someone didn't put in the code right, so I gotta disqualify their entry. There's a lot of entries, though, for the live stream tonight. I'm seeing about upwards of 20. I'm gonna give it another 30 seconds before I draw a winner. Start wrapping up the show for tonight. By the way, for all the newcomers on our stream, thank you for checking us out. We normally record our podcast on Tuesdays. We did it on Wednesday just because I came back yesterday from visiting my family. We are looking at moving our show possibly to Thursdays because we're seeing a lot of the updates on the Waypoint blog get posted on Wednesdays. And that's been dancing around a little bit. So
we'll be going back to Thursdays.
Possibly. So we will be giving more information out about that on our website and our downloaded podcast feed, and then obviously on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and all that fun stuff. Finals entries in. We're going to go ahead and pull a winner. We'll see who gets it. And it is... Wow. And it wasn't even... This is interesting. Entry number 630, Levi Edison, for following Podtacular on Twitch.
Cool.
So I will reach out to him and give him a little bit of time to respond and get the address information from him. And if we don't hear back from him in a week, then we will draw another winner next week. But For Levi Edison, congratulations. I don't know if you're listening or download this, but you have won the Xbox One X. Expect an email from Godzilla T or myself within the next day or so. Actually, probably when you're listening to this, you probably would have already received it. But for everyone else, thank you for tuning in and coming on over and entering our giveaway. Really appreciate it. For those that have dropped on by, we hope that you stick around. We'll have more stuff that we'll be giving away. We usually give something away about once a month or so. I have a stockpile of Halo gear that we usually give away either on Twitter or the podcast. And there's lots of other opportunities to get involved with as well. That's going to wrap it up for 2017. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff didn't happen, especially towards the end of the year of no Halo 6 news. But we did get Halo Wars 2. That's been quite an interesting unfolding of lore and events for that. A lot of cool stuff that we are expecting to hear in 2018. And we will be right along with everyone to see us into the new year. And hopefully we will get to interact with you all more. For a little more information about us, we are a podcast that is dedicated to covering the Halo news, both officially, that is posted by Xbox and 343, and in the community as well. So we've announced different tournaments from different communities, contests, some other community events and happenings. And we try to be an overall Halo community-oriented show. We have a number of different ways to get involved. One is through our game nights, which we do on Friday nights, which is hosted by Godzilla T as well. Those usually start at 8:30 on Friday and go for about 2 or 3 hours, usually lobby's choice of game modes or lobbies for Halo 5, or if there's a strong leaning towards maybe doing something in MCC or another game, we'll lean in that direction as well. We also have a YouTube series called Achieving Halo, which is also done by GT, which goes through the quickest way to get as many achievements through a Halo campaign in one playthrough. And GT, you want to give them a little more information behind that series?
No, it pretty much is exactly what it is. What we do is I go through each campaign level on the level hardest difficulty required. In Halo 5, we're doing it on Heroic because a lot of the achievements are really difficult on Legendary just because of the way the AI behaves. And it gets a little aggressive. So it makes some of the achievements really hard to do. But anyway, yeah. What we do is I'll break down each level and I will list off all the achievements you can get in one playthrough of that level. And I go through and I basically make a list of the maximum amount of achievements you can get while playing that level one time. It doesn't get you all the achievements because some of them are very finicky and some of them are just not practical to try to get in a run like that. You're better off getting them on their own, because to get this achievement, you have to sacrifice this other achievement. It's stuff like that.
Right.
It doesn't hold so much true in Halo 5, but in some of the other Halo games, it plays a big part of that. Like in our previous series with Halo CE on the Master Chief Collection, I forgo all the score and time-based achievements because of the rest of the achievements that I could get in those levels. So if you are interested in participating in a recording, we have 3 episodes left. The last 3 levels of Halo 5. You can hit me up at Godzilla Todd on Twitter, or you can message me on Xbox Live at Godzilla Space T. Don't spell space, just put a space. Or stay tuned to our Xbox group, and I also post looking for groups when I'm getting ready to record there as well.
So if you want to check that out or want to be a part of it, then definitely hit up GT on Twitter or in our Xbox Club. He'll post a looking for group on a weekend that he's looking to specifically do Achieving Halo. But he's also looking to see if anyone during a Friday game night wants to also do an Achieving Halo episode as well. There's another 3 episodes that need to be done. Or was it 4?
3.
Another 3 episodes to be done for Halo 5. And then we're not sure what we're doing yet after that. But he already did videos for Halo 1 as well. So we'll see where we go from there. Those are a couple ways to get involved. Another way to get involved, obviously, is by showing up to our podcast streams. We record exclusively on Mixer for our podcasts, and then we stream additionally to Twitch and YouTube during our game nights or other game playthroughs or streams that me or GT might do kind of off hours. I try to stream on Sunday nights whenever my schedule allows. I think GT has also streamed on some additional nights as well. Those are done on the other platforms, and the podcast is done more specifically on Mixer because of the reduced latency between the stream time and the chat response. And that's something that we really want to take advantage of during our podcast. Exclusively on Mixer for the recording of the show, and then we broadcast shared across Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube. And we're looking at incorporating Facebook video possibly into the mix in future streams. But you can find us across all those platforms. We're also on Twitter. That's where we do a lot of our updates to podcast shows or posting of our articles on our blog. Any of that kind of stuff. Twitter is our primary social media platform that we use. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. We have a Discord server, which you can check out. And we also have a Spartan company as well. For all those, if you just search Podtacular, you are more than likely to find where we live in those respective platforms. And that gets brought up so many times. We do not have MySpace because Airkibu just brought it up. That's one thing that we don't have, that we'll probably never have, and that's the end of that. There are a couple other things. Loot Crate has their latest theme out. It is the Let's Get Tactical. It's Halo 2 themed, with emphasis on Johnson, the Arbiter, and Guilty Spark. It is available for order up through February 15th at midnight Eastern Time. That's February 15th at 9 p.m. Pacific. Also, Halo 5 Guardians Digital Deluxe Edition is on sale through the Microsoft Store for $29.99 until January 5th. In addition to the Digital Deluxe, there are some of the Gold Rec Pack bundles also on discount for anywhere from, I think it's 30 to 40% based on the pack. So if you're looking to get the Digital Deluxe Edition, which includes, I believe, the Season Pass, or not the Season Pass. What does it include? I'm forgetting now.
It'll pretty much include everything except the Voices of War.
That's it. If you're looking for getting it as a late Christmas present or a late holiday present or something like that too, it's also there to grab. Or if it's something that you haven't gotten and you want to get, it's also there for that as well. You can check out our Spartan company, and to just give an update on where we are with our commendations. We've been trying to knock out our kill commendations to get our Achilles helmet. We do have some slots available for those that may not have the Achilles helmet as well. We do already have the armor, but we're still working on the helmet. Our closest commendation, and we're actually pretty close on this one now, is Road Trip. We need another 253. Hopefully that will not be too much longer. I was hoping we'd get that one by the end of the year. So for those in the chat that are playing some Halo 5 this weekend, try to get some splatters if you can. Forget to pay the
Road Trip.
Exactly. Forget to pay the toll is one of our other level 4s out of 5s that we need. The Pain Train and the Sorry Mate are the other two. The closest level 5 one that we have is killing an enemy Spartan with a ground pound, and we need another 584 of those. So that's our Spartan Company update. And that will be a wrap for us tonight. Anything left before we end 2017? GT.
Happy New Year!
Yes, Happy New Year to everybody. We will see you all in the new year, and expect some new stuff coming. A couple of small things in the beginning of 2018, and a couple of bigger things kind of in the spring, heading into the summer of 2018 as well. So for myself, GT, and the rest of the Podtacular staff, thanks everyone. Have a happy new year. Be safe. And until next time, keep on fragging trucks.